A shadow fell over Egypt. The Pharaoh, the mighty ruler, felt a heavy feeling in his heart. The Hebrew people were growing in number. Their strength worried him. He was afraid they would team up with his enemies. Then a cruel order was announced. Every newborn Hebrew baby boy had to die. He ordered them to be thrown into the waters of the great Nile River. This order spread fear everywhere. A Hebrew woman, Jochebed, stood up to that fear. She was expecting, and she gave birth to a son. She saw he was a special baby, beautiful in God's eyes. For 3 long months she hid her baby. It was time for a desperate plan. Jochebed wove a basket from papyrus reeds. She placed her precious baby among the reeds, right by the river's edge. Pharaoh's own daughter went down to the Nile to bathe. She saw a small basket hidden among the tall reeds. When she opened the basket, she saw the baby crying. She felt sorry for him. Miriam, the baby's sister, who was watching nearby, went up to the princess. "Do you want me to go get one of the Hebrew women to nurse the baby for you?" she asked. The princess agreed. Miriam quickly ran to get her mother, Jochebed. Jochebed nursed her son with love and unspeakable relief. The child grew and she named him Moses, which means drawn out of the water. Moses grew up in the royal palace. He was educated like an Egyptian prince, learning all the wisdom of Egypt. One day when he was grown up, he saw an Egyptian beating a Hebrew, one of his own people. Filled with anger, he stepped in and killed the Egyptian. When he learned that what he had done was known, Moses fled from Egypt and went to live in Midian. Years went by for Moses in the land of Midian. He became a shepherd and looked after the flocks of Jethro, his father-in-law. One day, Moses led his flock far out past the desert and came to Horeb, the mountain of God. There he saw a bush that was on fire. But what a surprise! It wasn't burning up. Moses went closer, carefully and with curiosity. A voice called to him from the bush, "Moses! Moses!" Moses answered right away, "Here I am." The voice continued, "Don't come any closer. Take off your sandals, because the place where you are standing is holy ground. I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob." The Lord told him his plan to save his people from the hard times they faced in Egypt. He gave Moses this task: "Go now. I am sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt." Moses, feeling too small for such a big job, asked, "Who am I to go to Pharaoh and lead the children of Israel out of Egypt?" God comforted him with a very strong promise: "I will be with you." Moses' journey as a prophet, the one who would free his people, had begun. Moses felt like this job God gave him was a really big weight on his shoulders. He wasn't sure, and he said, "Oh Lord, I'm not good at speaking. I wasn't good before, and I'm not good now. Even after you've talked to me, it's hard for me to speak, and I stumble over my words." But God encouraged him, saying, "Go on, go. I will help you speak, and I will teach you what you need to say." God also chose Aaron, Moses' brother, who was a good speaker, to be his spokesman. Moses returned to Egypt and met with Aaron. Together, they gathered the elders of the Israelites. Aaron carefully told them the words God had spoken to Moses, and he performed the signs in front of the people. The people believed. And when they heard that the Lord was helping the Israelites and saw how they were suffering, they bowed down and worshipped him. Moses and Aaron then went to see Pharaoh. They delivered God's message with confidence. "This is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says, 'Let my people go.'" Pharaoh very proudly answered, "And who is this Lord that I should obey him and let Israel go? I do not know the Lord, and I will not let Israel go." Pharaoh not only ignored them, but he made the work even harder for the Israelites. He ordered them to gather their own straw for the bricks. The people in despair turned against Moses and Aaron. Moses, heartbroken, cried out to the Lord in great anguish, "Lord, why have you made these people suffer so much? Why did you send me?" The fight between God's power and Pharaoh's stubbornness grew stronger. Aaron threw his staff down in front of Pharaoh, and the staff turned into a snake. Pharaoh's magicians did the same thing, but Aaron's staff swallowed their staffs. But still, Pharaoh's heart stayed hard. The first plague hit Egypt. The water in the Nile River turned to blood. The fish died, the river smelled awful, and the Egyptians couldn't drink the water. Disease killed their farm animals. Terrible boils broke out. A hailstorm destroyed the crops. Locusts ate what was left, and a thick darkness covered Egypt. Pharaoh would promise to free the people, but he always backed out and wouldn't give in. The plagues kept coming, each one worse than the one before. Pharaoh's stubbornness was like a very strong wall, blocking out both reason and God's power. Moses announced the last and most terrible plague. Every firstborn in the land of Egypt would die. God gave Moses special instructions for the Israelites. This would be the Lord's Passover. Each family had to take a lamb without any flaws and sacrifice it. They had to take the blood and put it on the doorframes. The blood would be a sign. The Lord would pass over those houses. That midnight, the Lord struck down all the firstborn in Egypt. There was a loud cry throughout all of Egypt. Pharaoh called for Moses and Aaron and said to them, "Get up, leave my people, go and worship the Lord, just like you said. Take your sheep and your cattle too, and go, and bless me too." The Egyptians hurried the people to make them leave quickly. The Israelites took their dough before it could rise. A large crowd left Egypt on that memorable night. The Lord guided them with a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. The promise of freedom came true with great power. Being free was something new, a breath of hope. But fear soon returned. Pharaoh's heart hardened again, and he changed his mind. He chased the Israelites and caught up to them when they were camped by the Red Sea. When they saw Pharaoh and his army coming, the Israelites were very scared and prayed to the Lord. Moses told the people, "Don't be afraid, stand firm, and you will see how the Lord will save you today. The Lord will fight for you, and you won't have to do anything." The Lord said to Moses, "Tell the children of Israel to get moving. Lift up your staff, stretch out your hand over the sea, and divide it." Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord drove the sea back with a strong east wind. The Israelites went into the middle of the sea, walking on dry land. The Egyptians chased them into the middle of the sea. The Lord confused the Egyptian army. Moses stretched out his hand over the sea again. The sea returned to its place, covering the chariots and their riders. Not a single one of them survived. That is how the Lord saved Israel that day from the hands of the Egyptians. And the people had great respect for the Lord, and they believed in him and in his servant Moses.